Coming up on this episode of Up for Debate, we're talking All Hallows Eve, Halloween, the spooky, scary holiday full of candy, ghouls, and children in costumes. We're going to talk about it all here on this episode of Up for Debate. This is Up for Debate, episode number 66, recorded November 17th, 2016. Boo! It's our Halloween episode. I love that title. Hi, everybody. Sean Jennings here, joined as always by the Grim Reaper himself, the King of Death, the Master of the Dark, our dark arts professor, I guess. I don't know. Matt Mariani. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mr. Sean.
Hey.
Are you spooked out for our Halloween episode?
I'm debating trick or treat, and I'm not sure which I want because they both sound pretty good. It should be trick and treat.
I don't know what makes why would the trick be good? Why would you ever want the trick?
You know, it's got to be one of those.
That's like a pretty easy question. I mean, like, life throws you a lot of difficult questions, and I feel like that should not be so much of the one of the more difficult ones. That's a pretty easy one right there. You know, I'd go for treat.
But it's got to be one of those old timey things that, let's see, I'm looking up the origin of the term trick or treat. Because I'm quite curious. Let's see.
Well, I think wouldn't it goes back to the time, like, you know, in like the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, in North America,
where kids actually would give you like significant tricks if you did not provide them with enough treats. So the option was either, you know, treat, or we're gonna mess with your house. We're gonna egg your house. We're gonna throw toilet paper at it. Whatever.
So here we go. So this is what Wikipedia says. It says, in North America, trick-or-treating has been a Halloween tradition since the late 1920s. In Britain and Ireland, the tradition of going house to house collecting food at Halloween goes back at least as far as the 16th century, as has the tradition of people wearing costumes at Halloween. It says, in the 19th century Britain and Ireland, there are many accounts of people going house to house in costume at Halloween, reciting verses in exchange for food, and sometimes warning of misfortune if they were not welcome. While going house to house in costume has remained popular among the Scots and Irish, the custom of saying trick or treat has only recently become common.
Yeah.
Oh, they're local variants. Would you like to know local variants?
Local variants on
Yes.
trick or treating?
In Scotland and Ireland, they have what's known as guising, or like a disguise, children going door to door in disguise, and a gift in the form of food, coins, or, quote, apples or nuts for the Halloween party is given out to the children dressed in various costumes. The tradition is called guising because of the disguises or costume worn by the children.
Okay.
There is a significant difference from the way the practice has developed in North America with the associated threat, hence the trick. Children in Scotland and Ireland, the children are only supposed to receive treats if they perform a party trick for the household they goes to, normally taking the form of singing a song or reciting a joke or funny poem, which the child has memorized before going out.
That sounds...
We gotta do that here.
Great. That sounds really nice.
I'm definitely behind that.
And I didn't know that. I thought the trick was being pulled on... you learned something new. I thought the trick was something malicious.
No,
I guess that says something about...
in the U.S.,
by.
So in both St. Louis and Des Moines, Iowa, as indicated in this Wikipedia article, children are expected to perform a joke, usually a simple Halloween-themed pun or riddle, before receiving any candy. This trick earns the treat.
Oh. So they still maintain that tradition
in certain
Iowa
cities,
and in St. Louis?
Apparently.
Okay.
Apparently.
Interesting.
In some parts of Canada, children sometimes say Halloween apples instead of trick or treat. That's weird. You knock on the door, Halloween apples!
That doesn't make any sense. Why do they say Halloween apples? That's such a random thing to say.
I don't know.
Do they receive? At one point, did they receive apples as their?
Well, it says here, apple giving in much of Canada, however, has been taboo since the 60s when stories, not true, appeared of razors inside Halloween apples.
Yes. Okay. I feel like, how do you get a razor into an apple without anybody knowing? That's difficult.
You know, hang on though, because I will say, if you're going to put a razor into something, I feel an apple you could, because it has so much surface area. I feel like and apples have bruises or nicks in them traditionally. So if you were really careful about it, like wrapped candy, I don't understand how you get it in wrapped candy.
Yeah.
That would be a lot harder. I think an apple would be a lot easier.
No, that would be near impossible.
Right.
The round candy. I guess you could do it in an apple, but all right. Yeah, you'd have to just be really careful, and I guess if you're using a razor that is small in size.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't have to be like a full size.
Yeah, maybe I was picturing the dimensions of the razor unrealistically large. Yeah, Halloween's been an all right holiday. I never really viewed it as a favorite of mine, though. I don't know. There's some people that love Halloween. I think it's nice. I think it's one of those holidays that really you kind of outgrow, unfortunately.
Oh, sure.
Like, I don't think you're never too old to receive Christmas presents. You're never too old to have dinner with your family on Thanksgiving. But I think Halloween kind of takes this gap. There's this gap between like reaching adulthood and having children of your own, where Halloween is kind of like not for you.
It's more 4th of July than Christmas, right? It's more of a fun time, but not a tradition anymore.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm kind of curious what you're going to say to this question. Do you think I like Halloween? You've known me for a while, and you know I have interesting opinions, and I have a feeling you don't know the answer to this because I don't think we've ever really discussed Halloween.
I think I'm going to get this absolutely wrong.
I know.
I'll say this ahead of time.
I figured this would be fun. So, Matt, am I in favor of Halloween?
Given your nature,
I
think this is you going against your nature, but given your nature, I think that you despise Halloween.
And why?
But I think I'm absolutely wrong on that. I think you secretly somehow love it.
So by default, you would say no, but you think I'm going to surprise you and say yes.
Yes.
Matt, I really don't care for Halloween.
Okay,
so
all right.
So you're pretty spot on.
My initial instinct is correct.
Look, I'm all for holidays, but this is such a bullshit holiday.
Okay.
Like, it's got no substance. It's got, Christmas has the religious angle. It's got an iconic character in Santa Claus. It's got traditional elements like presents and things and food, and it's a full holiday. Halloween is not a full holiday. It's not a family holiday. It's a holiday where you get drunk and eat candy. It's more like it's like a Fat Tuesday of holidays here. It's like it's more of a sin holiday, which I guess is the idea.
Even Fat Tuesday also has a religious angle to it.
Exactly.
It's the Tuesday before Lent.
Well, and even Halloween, by the way, I understand. Don't keep your emails. I get it does have a religious history, but it certainly doesn't anymore. So
yeah, no, I don't think it ever really did have a religious holiday. Yes, it is All Saints Day in the Catholic religion, but that's not celebrated by going door to door and getting candy. I think that was like you go to church and then that's how you celebrate All Saints.
To be honest, trick-or-treating is the worst part of Halloween. Like, if Halloween were just celebrating scary things, watching scary movies, eating decadent foods to celebrate, I guess, dying of heart disease, getting drunk, putting fake cobwebs all over your house, like, I'd be generally okay with that. I wouldn't, kind of like 4th of July, where it's more of just you decorate and hang out kind of the holiday. But this bullshit trick-or-treating thing first of all, costumes are super expensive these days. When I was a kid, my mother made them, and she did a great job and didn't spend nearly as much. So every kid's got to be Iron Man or Spider-Man, right? And they go to door to door. Candy is super expensive. I don't know if you've bought in little bite-sized candy before, but they're a friggin' fortune. And these kids come to their candy. They expect a ton of candy. The parents also want candy when they. It's just I'm an old man. I'm the guy who turns his lights off and hides behind the curtain so nobody knocks on my door. But it's just stupid. Don't go to strangers' houses and expect them to give you candy. I was just going to say that
it's the one day of the year where you're encouraged to ask strangers for money or for gifts.
But it's selfish. It's. You know what? If the kids went door to door and collected food to give to homeless people, I'd be like, great, that's a good idea for a holiday. It's so selfish.
Yes, it is very selfish. But I like the angle that Iowa and St. Louis took, to be honest. At least then the kids are telling you a joke. Right. They're livening your night.
I agree.
Then all right, in return, then they get some candy. The kids really don't do anything to earn the candy. They kind of just show up and expect it.
Do you know last time I gave out candy? This was a couple years ago. But the kids don't even say trick or treat anymore. They just hold the bag out and expect you to give them candy. Oh my God! It was crazy. And then there were people who would like wheel up their baby carriage with a baby, and you had to give candy to the baby. And I'm like, I know that baby is not eating that candy, lady.
Yeah. Or they probably shouldn't be.
That's a crock of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go that route in terms of the selfishness, a lot of the holidays have kind of taken a self-centered angle. I mean, Christmas especially, you know.
Sure.
You're supposed to teach your kid, it's better to give than to receive, and like seeing, other people's happiness is better than your own. But that's definitely not at this stage in the game. People basically are just making their own shopping lists and like giving them to other people to go, like their parents, to go shopping for them.
Especially
it's not
for
really
kids. Yeah.
It's not really much of, you're not really teaching a lot of the true meaning of Christmas, of the holiday.
Yeah, it is interesting that a lot of holidays have a moral behind them, right?
Yeah.
For a chunk of them, right? Thanksgiving is about being thankful for what you have. Christmas is about giving. What does Halloween stand for? Tricking people?
Being scared. I don't know.
It's a very 4th of July is about patriotism. Easter is about resurrection, I guess. Rebirth, the spring,
new beginnings, something like that.
Absolutely.
Even New Year's, also like you have your New Year's resolutions.
Sure, but
people write.
What is Halloween about? Death?
Better yourself, self-betterment. Halloween is not about.
It's hollow. It's a hollow holiday.
Halloween. See this, Sean. This is why we need to start writing episode titles mid-episode. That would have been a great episode.
But Matt, you know what the really funny is? Do you remember what episode title you pitched before we got on the air? Shalloween. We could have actually used it. It would have made perfect sense to use it right here.
Shalloween.
Although I do really like Boo. It's our Halloween episode.
Halloween episode.
Like it's very literal. It's just like Boo. It's our Halloween episode. So I don't regret that too much.
Now a positive that comes out of Halloween.
Let's say nice things.
Positive. The day after Halloween, candy in the store is like 50% cheaper. If you're into buying candy,
I always forget
for yourself. But yeah,
I didn't even.
It's not really a big plus, but it is a plus.
I should ask you, because this is controversial. This is very controversial. I get into a lot of arguments about this. Okay.
Okay.
And so hopefully you give me the right answer. Is candy corn good?
No, candy corn sucks. Candy corn sucks. It's terrible. It sucks.
Candy corn's the best. I'll eat candy corn year round. I'm just a bad person, aren't I?
Candy corn is just a complete filler.
I hate Halloween, but I love candy corn.
Nasty filler. I think we've had the same discussion about honeydew, right?
Yeah.
Like honeydew is the filler of fruit salad. Candy corn is the filler of the Halloween candy bowl.
Look, I will never say candy corn is the best Halloween candy.
You might as well just take a bunch of unprocessed sugar and just pour it in a bowl and be like, "Here, kids, eat up." No. That's basically what candy corn is. Bunch of sugar. You dump food coloring on it, and that's candy corn. No, I disagree. You have your chocolates that are very good, and they're not just sugar. There's a lot of tastiness in chocolate.
What about pixie sticks? Those are literally sugar in a tube.
They literally just put sugar in a tube.
Yeah, so
that's lazy.
I mean, at least they're in a shape of corn.
But what is candy corn? It's basically that sugar, but then heated up and concentrated into triangles.
It's called candy. It's a tasty, delicious candy, and yes, I do eat it year round. It's good. I like candy corn.
God.
And it baffles me that it's not the best. There are better candies. I'm never going to say it's the best, but it's not bad.
If I'm going to go out of my way to give myself diabetes, eating candy corn is not the way I want to go. I want to do it. I'll eat bags of Skittles. I'll eat bags of M&M's.
I'd eat candy corns before I'd eat Skittles.
Oh God, no way.
For each Halloween, I buy usually one bag of candy a year for Halloween for myself.
And it's candy corn? You waste it on candy?
I do. It's very cheap, by the way. It's all that high fructose corn syrup the government subsidizes, so it's super cheap.
That's pretty much what it is, yeah.
That's what they feed cows to fatten them up. Looks like real corn. They can't tell the difference.
Make the meat sweeter, yeah. If you want a real Halloween treat, and let me provide you with Mr. Mariani's recipe.
Oh, no. Matt cooking is terrifying. Okay?
Take a Tootsie Roll of the chocolate variety, your traditional Tootsie Roll.
Sure.
Go out and also purchase yourself the fruit flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Oh
I like to
God.
use the
Okay.
orange one for this. I highly recommend the orange Tootsie Rolls. All right, stretch both Tootsie Rolls out till you get them nice and elongated, as long as possible without breaking the Tootsie Roll apart. And then kind of intertwine them together to make a fantastic holiday treat. Chocolate and orange Tootsie Roll. You kind of do like a double helix DNA kind of thing where you just kind of wrap them around each other and just pop it in your mouth. Fantastic.
See, these are the kind of tips you can only get on this program.
Absolutely. And a little extra, you know what? Now is the time of year you can find eggnog in the store. Maybe you want to, drink that eggnog with your Tootsie Roll straw. All right? Take a little toothpick, break a little hole in the Tootsie Roll, and you can sip the eggnog through the Tootsie Roll straw.
No,
I reckon.
I know this is slightly off topic, but Matt, speaking of eggnog, do you know that they sell eggnog year-round in Houston?
Why?
I just moved here. I have no idea.
That doesn't make any sense.
In August, you could buy eggnog.
It's super hot. Why would you want? Who's drinking eggnog in the middle of the summer?
They didn't just have one kind. They had like 4 brands. They had a whole
does eggnog,
cooler
does
of
it,
them.
Does it originate from Houston or something? Is it
I don't know. And I don't know if it's all in
just
Texas.
buy it whenever you want?
You can buy it whenever you want, 24/7, year-round. Do you want eggnog? You got it. Get your nog on.
I honestly don't know who is sipping eggnog in the middle of July.
And a 100-degree day.
Needs to have their head examined.
Quench your thirst with eggnog.
Nice for refreshing eggnog.
New from Gatorade eggnog.
Eggnog is a lot of calories.
Yeah, it is. I hate eggnog.
It's unfortunate. I love eggnog.
Oh, see, we're never
gonna get enough of it, but it is so bad for you.
Matt, I did want to ask you, by the way, speaking of trick-or-treating, when you were a kid, did you ever get anything weird when you went trick-or-treating?
The weirdest thing I ever got when I went trick-or-treating, well, I did get candy cigarettes one time.
Oh, all right.
Which, not the most appropriate thing to give to a child, but you know what? Some people are old school. I got wax lips. I never really understood wax lips.
Yeah,
that was kind of strange. And I guess pennies and fruit. I have gotten fruit.
Oh, wow.
I had a neighbor that would just kind of throw pennies in there. That's
weird.
like that was awful.
You might as well not give anything at that point.
I know. I was like thinking about just throwing the penny back at them. You might as well not give anything at all because now you're giving me something I have to keep track of that's virtually worthless. And then fruit. Yes, I did. I have received fruit, mostly raisins, cranberries. Got cranberries one year.
Yeah.
Cranberries. Wasn't even like chocolate covered cranberries.
It was just the fruit.
And now that's expensive. Like that's more expensive.
Raisins, yeah, those aren't
I don't know why would you give those to children? Children don't appreciate them, and they're more money than just buying them sugar crap that they actually want. I didn't get that. Weirdest thing I've ever received?
Sure.
Chocolate chips. Just the chocolate chips.
Just like a bag of just chocolate chips?
Just a bag of like Nestle's chocolate chips.
Like morsels, the little...
Like the things you used to bake. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. I don't think this is candy. I think the lady that gave them to me, I think she was a little bit senile.
Hey, you know what? It's better than fruit.
That was way better than the penny.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Penny's pretty bad.
Yes. What was the weirdest thing you ever received?
You know, I was thinking, most of it was pretty... I do remember that there was a house that would give out full cans of soda, which was weird because, A, they were really heavy in your bag, and B, they would get all shaken up from you walking around. It really was
C, you know, if you're a little bit older and you're trick-or-treating, like you're middle school, what are you going to do with that can? You're going to throw it at your friends. You're going to chuck it at them as hard as you can, try to hurt them, or you're going to shake it up and spray it in their face. Mm-hmm. So you're going to do something malicious with that can. It's not going to be drinking. So yeah, that's not the best gift to give. Yeah,
but for the most part, no. I got normal candy.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Sean, I have a question for you.
All right, last question for the show.
When you would go around trick-or-treating,
yes, sir.
Okay, would you be the one that would If you saw a bowl of candy and the person's not out, would you be that one that would take as much candy as you possibly can? Or would you be honest and just take one piece, like the sign said?
Well, first of all, I feel like this is a new phenomenon because I don't remember when I was really young this being that prevalent. I feel like it's a newer thing to leave the bowl out. No, I was moral as a kid, and I continue to be moral today. I would only take one. I might be a little more generous, like maybe a small handful, but I certainly would not take more than that, and I would not take the whole bowl.
Yeah. I started out thinking along those lines, like, take the moral high ground and only take one, leave some for the rest. But then I got to thinking that, you know what? It's kind of like, as I got older, maybe I got a little bit more cynical, and I just thought, this is the lazy man's approach to Halloween. You just left a bowl out filled with candy, and we're supposed to, come over here like dogs and like we're eating out of this bowl. Not that I would take the entire bowl. I would never do that because there are other kids that, we're going to be trick-or-treating that also deserve candy too. But man, I would take more than one piece. I would take several pieces, and I would justify it by thinking, you know what? You did not provide me with an adequate trick-or-treat experience. You just left the bowl out here and said,
you're asking for it. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Exactly, you're asking for it. Yeah, and there's really nothing that's going to stop kids from just. I've seen kids take the whole bowl and just pour it right in there.
Sure.
In their gluttonous bags.
That's pretty sure. And they're never going. No one ever eats all their candy.
Not at all.
Did you ever finish all your candy? No one ever finishes all the candy.
No, I think I would finish the candy, but it would take me a really long. Like I wouldn't be done with it until like almost. I would say Easter, Easter, and then you get more candy.
Yeah, it was.
Kids are so fat.
I was about to say, I don't know how we didn't end up giant. Matt, we're just about out of time. I did want to end with one quick story from my childhood, which was, and my mother can verify this because this absolutely happened, was that I was a bit of a scaredy kid. Okay, I wasn't the bravest young man, and this was probably when I don't know, maybe 6, right around there, plus or minus a year. That my mother bought me a pirate costume. I'm supposed to be a pirate. I was scared to wear the costume. I'm not sure why. I was a kid. What do you want from me? So that year I went.
Maybe you thought maybe they would think you were a real pirate and try to like recruit you on their pirate.
I genuinely don't remember, but there was just something about it. I refused to wear it. So that year, and Matt, I'll send you a photo. I went as myself. And so I just wore a sweatshirt and jeans. and people at all the houses, they'd ask, what are you supposed to be? And I'd say, I'm Sean, I'm myself. And they got it.
Did they actually give you candy for that?
They gave me, well, I was a kid, and I was with my brother and sister who were dressed up.
Okay.
So I kind of stuck out. And then, but that's a decent story, right? The following Halloween, I got a costume. I don't remember what that one was. I'm going to say Dracula, but it was a pretty generic costume. I also did not want to wear it. So for 2 years in a row, I went as myself.
As yourself.
As myself. And yeah, I never wanted to wear the costumes.
You should have at least had a little name tag. It said like, "Hello, my name is Sean."
Well, that would have been good. A couple of years later, I did just the sheet over the head ghost, which I think is
as
pretty
simple as possible.
As simple as possible. And then when I was in middle school, I had an old friend, and he wore his he had an army jacket, like from a surplus store. And so I dressed up in a collared shirt and we went around, and we said he was a Vietnam vet, and I was his court-appointed social mentor.
Wow.
Was our costume. And then the best thing,
that's a depressing.
I know, he was a weird guy. Great guy, very weird. And the best thing was we went to this guy's house and he, just to play along, just to be a dick, the guy, we said that, and the guy at that, he said, "Where are you supposed to be?" And we told him, and he said, what rice patty did you serve in? And my friend, without missing a beat, he just looks him dead in the eye and goes, "Uncle Ben's." And he gave us, and he just laughed and gave us a shit ton of candy. It was great.
Yeah, that's clever. Yeah. Yeah, that's quick thinking right there. I guess we
give shit to Halloween, but you know what? If it makes kids happy, who gives a shit? I mean,
you know what? There you go.
There are worse things in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was in my Halloween, I feel like I've squandered so many Halloweens. As a child, I kid you not, probably from the time I was in first grade all the way to like fourth grade as Dracula. The same costume every Halloween. I wanted to be Dracula.
It's economic.
I drew the widow's. My mom drew the widow's peak on me. I had the cape, a white shirt underneath it, and and I had the teeth, the fake teeth. I was Dracula every Halloween. I don't know why I really like that costume.
It's a good costume. It's a classic.
Yeah, it's classic. But six. That's like that's 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 Halloweens in a row as the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have branched out a little bit.
Mixed it up.
Yeah, done something else. But I wanted to go that classic route and be Dracula.
There's no shame in that.
But hey, you know what? As long as the kids are having fun with it.
I know. We're just a couple of grumpy old men.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of where we're at. We're getting to be grumpy old men. Whining about stuff like the NFL.
They expect us to give them candy. The nerve coming on my lawn.
Clouds.
Shame on them. All right, Matt. Well, we've got to stick a pin in that. We're done. Ironically, this episode will go live on Thanksgiving, but that's okay. What are you gonna do?
We'll talk about Thanksgiving on Christmas.
I was about to say we'll just have to constantly be behind on the holidays. But certainly thanks everybody for joining us on this very spooky episode. As always, we appreciate it. Our website, of course, upfordebate.tv. You can go there, get all the episodes. If you click that subscribe button, I really recommend you do, because if you follow us, you get the episodes when they're published, and our schedule is insane, so it's better to subscribe on places like SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music. We're everywhere, YouTube video as well. And of course, you can follow us at Up for Debate TV on Twitter and upfordebatetv@gmail.com if you want to email us. We will be back next time with more to discuss. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We certainly did. So on behalf of Matt, this is Sean, thanking you again for joining us and hoping we'll see you next time for even more Up for Debate.